Yeah, okay. The Ad Hoc DND Special Investigating Committee has already finalized its report, and the discussions have already been done with the Secretary of National Defense. Basically, they've got 10 items in the findings, and foremost of these are one, there's a need for the strict implementation of laws and regulations, especially as far as the logistics and the financial management systems of the AFP is concerned. The second is the need for computerization and automation of the AFP logistics and financial systems especially. The third is a recommendation on the creation of a Defense Acquisition Bureau under the DND to professionalize the procurement and logistics service of the DND, which only means that the logistics arm of the AFP might be elevated to the DND. And then, of course, the elevation of such oversight offices as the Office of the Internal Audit, Inspector General, even the TJAGs might be elevated to the DND. These are all offices which exercise review and investigative and oversight functions over the different areas, especially on the logistics and the financial management systems of the AFP. So there are 10 of them, but these are the major points that have been culled from the investigating committee report, which actually is about 100 pages. I've only read part of it. About 100 pages.
Sir, wala po ba recommendation to prosecute?
There are the committee is not in a position to prosecute. A recommendation is to further investigate certain individuals which might have committed transgressions or irregularities in the different systems that have been reviewed. And a report will be forwarded to the Ombudsman for the military, for this particular office to take action on these recommendations.
What do you mean officers are recommended to be further?
Wala pa eh. They will have to be given by the committee itself. Yeah. And we're avoiding this because, you know, even if these people are included in the list, it doesn't really mean that there are anomalies that were committed. So there are indications that there might have been irregularities, but we'd rather not approach it the way it has been approached, that people are tried by publicity.
Basically, yung documentation report, pagkakalan sa reports na
yeah, as we reported earlier, because of the limited time given to the committee and the limited powers of the committee, it cannot subpoena, for example, or force people to testify. They cannot even force people to submit documents. So they had to concentrate on reforms, and even the resource persons and the witnesses that were needed to go deeper into the reported anomalies in those early years of 2000 involving Ligot and Garcia. These same people were not available because they were being used as witnesses and resource persons by both the House of Representatives and the Senate during those hearings.
Sir, kung lang yung nakulate ng investigation ng committee, sir, ngayon sa besides nga hindi na lang ako sa legal, kahit ano. Bukod dun, sir, ano pa yung nakita nilang bukod dun sinabi?
Well, one of the major recommendations is the strict implementation of rules and regulations, which means that, for example, the cash advance system, it was noted that there are a lot of cash advances which remain unliquidated. So, if the offices that are supposed to implement the strict observance of rules and regulation would follow this up, then this should not be happening. So apparently there was a lack of monitoring of cash advances. And in this connection, the Secretary of National Defense has already issued a department order requiring that the strict observance of the rules and regulations with regards to cash advances. That if there is any cash advance that has been incurred, then within 60 days these cash advances should be liquidated. And no further cash advances can be issued if 75% of the outstanding cash advances are not liquidated, because cash advances can come by way of tranches. Hindi naman one time yan eh. So that's the reason why there's a requirement that at least 75% of all outstanding cash advances should be liquidated before further cash advances can be issued. Yeah.
Elevate pizza and procurement.
Well, basically, it's removing these offices which exercise review and oversight functions. The move is to take this out of the chain of command, because it has been observed that the officers become ineffective if they report, for example, to the Chief of Staff. The Chief of Staff is concerned about the operations of the AFP. And to a certain extent, the accomplishment of the mission sometimes overrides all other considerations. Like, for example, observance of proper procedures, which is necessary for management control and information.
You mean the data that this position could be handled by civilians?
There's a tendency or an inclination to civilianize these positions and elevate it, or at least take it out of the chain of command. So it is now under the DND. These officers will be reporting directly to the DND. So these officers reviewing the AFP are not answerable to anybody within the chain of command.
But to the SND?
To the SND. Yun ang
paano po yung sasabi before na i-adopt nyo yung magiging recommendation ng Senate? Hindi na mangyayari?
Well, as far as the filing of cases, because there was no time there was no time to go further into the specific cases of the anomalies.
So, ibig sabihin, sir, yung report na yung sabi ko na it will wait for the Senate investigation to conclude, or?
No, meron ng, there are specific recommendations with regards to personalities already, which were uncovered by the committee itself. So this might be by way of, for example, violation of rules and regulations, which contribute to the bigger offenses eventually, because if things which do not follow procedures or the required reports are not submitted on time, then this has a tendency to go on through time unnoticed.
Sir, allowing that to be published by make it public, the names of those who will be recommended for to be filed charges.
This will be submitted. It will be left to the discretion of the authorities who will be pursuing the cases. Yeah.
Investigation, sir, did they take kung gaano extent ng corruption?
What's indicated is there are a lot of transgressions as far as rules and regulations are concerned and the proper reporting. So in the conduct of operations, sometimes the management and admin functions of commanders are relegated in the background because of the emphasis on the accomplishment of a mission. So it's important that there are reforms that are instituted to prevent this. Like let the commanders in the field concentrate on operations, and the administrative functions be carried on by other officers.
What did the committee, sir, establish kung yung amount na ito? Kamusta was mentioning about 2.3 billion.
I'm not aware how he arrived at that, but since he was there, I guess he should have more information with regards to that.
How about the committee? Did it establish how much?
Yun na nga ang problema eh. The documentation is incomplete, especially given the time that was given to them to work on this.
So, sir, dito sa mga nire-committed sa panahon, ano ko yung mga dati sibusta o ang mga dati ko ang...
I haven't seen the list, so I cannot comment on that. I guess so. When we talk of possibilities, it's in the papers. Again. May mga recommendations sila, but I haven't been privy to the list. I don't know. Because again, I would like to emphasize that some are just violations of regulations, non-observance of the reporting requirements. This could be minor offenses, but eventually the committee seemed to come to the conclusion that these minor omissions or what you can say neglect of certain procedures and reporting systems eventually led to the major offenses that came out during the hearings.
Sir, dun sa Inspector dun ka nagkakaroon ng pagwartan pagdating sa...
Saan?
Yung mga i-elevate sa DND, tatagaling ko sa commercial at yung Inspector General Office, dun ka nagkakaroon particular
Hindi, ang concept is these are oversight officers, no? If they are within the chain of command, the tendency is if you come up with the report, you tend to soften the report if, for example, this is reviewed by the chief of staff within the AFP, for example, because as I said, the AFP is really there to operate and accomplish the mission.
Are you going to recommend the
I don't know.
One of the or
I am not aware of succeeding steps that are going to be made. But what I know is they're ready to make the final report, and this have been finalized.
How about the police?
No, this has already been acted upon by the AFP. And the chief of staff has even issued instructions, I think today or yesterday, for the investigating office, which is, I understand, the Inspector General, to expedite the report. But early indication seems to show that there are no discrepancies as far as the toll transactions are concerned. I've seen the figures for the first quarter. There's an allocation of about 108 million, but the issuances were only about 80 million plus. So there's even a balance. So I don't know where that 400 million is coming from.